Hi, welcome to the video for a piece I'm calling Snoochie Boochies. We're drawing a Jay and Silent Bob reboot. I'm going to assume for just a second that if you're even bothering to watch this, you know who Jay and Silent Bob are, but for those that are not in the know, no judgment, I might best sum up Jay and Silent Bob as a 90s version of Cheech and Chong, if you get that reference. There's something of a stoner duo from a series of movies in the 90s. Silent Bob, the guy on the right with the darker hair and the beard there, is played by a guy named Kevin Smith, who is actually the creator of these characters and a director of a series of movies that these two characters are based in. Again, I'm going to assume for the most part, if you're watching this, you're probably familiar with who these two are, so I'll kind of leave the description at that. I think it might be necessary to point out, though, that I'm not necessarily drawing Jay and Silent Bob as much as I'm drawing Jay and Silent Bob, their reboot characters. And I think that's an important distinction. For those of you, again, who are not in the know, Kevin Smith, over the last couple of years or so, lost a significant amount of weight, over 100 pounds or so. And there was a recent movie he made where he rebooted, so to speak, it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek joke, but where he brought back his Jay and Silent Bob characters in a recent movie that just came out several months ago. I watched it a couple days ago. That's what inspired this piece. And the challenge here was to draw a Jay and Silent Bob that looked very different from the Jay and Silent Bob of their 90s versions of themselves in the movies. So this modern drawing, this modern caricature of Jay and Silent Bob is a little bit unusual because Silent Bob is now skinny, over 100 pounds lighter, and Jay, he just looks older, and I don't want to speculate here because, everybody has their own life they go through, but again, he does look a little bit older, and he doesn't really look very much like his younger version in the sense that I think maybe his mouth is a little bit different, he may have had some dental work done, I'm not really sure on that, and again, I'm not going to speculate. But the reference photos on this came from the most recent Jay and Silent Bob movie, which again was made a couple of months ago, and it is a decidedly different version of the Jay and Silent Bob that I grew up with in the 90s, watching those movies as a fan. So I'm going to kind of defend the caricature here a little bit and say that it may not necessarily look like the Jay and Silent Bob that you remember, but it is the Jay and Silent Bob that's the more modern version of them. And, to Kevin Smith's credit, he did work at losing quite a bit of weight, and I did try to make some reference to that as well. I was kind of shocked by the enormous amount of weight loss he went through, and some time ago, you got to ask that question, like, how did you do it? Could I do it too? That sort of thing. And when I looked it up, it turns out that he had a massive heart attack after a public speaking engagement, and went to the hospital, told that he almost died, and decided to make some radical life changes. And the most significant of those life changes was that he took his daughter's advice and turned vegan. Said that he would do it for 6 months just to kind of give it a trial run, and it worked, and it worked well, and he stuck to it. Now, there were several comments that he made that I think were very kind of telling about his weight loss struggle and things like that. For starters, he said that he used to drink upwards of 2 gallons of milk a day, whole milk per day. And the joke following that was, and you wonder why he had a heart attack. In addition to that, he was definitely something of a meat eater, so the vegan thing really works. And, I followed up on this a little bit as well. He also kind of did some interviews a little bit later on where he revealed a little bit more information, where he said that not only is he vegan, and I am making reference to that in this picture of the little button that he's wearing on his jacket, but not only is he vegan, but he also hates vegetables, and so that really limits what he's able to eat. So I'm going to challenge some facts here. Kevin Smith has certainly lost the weight, and he is to be commended for it. But why? Not so much because he went vegan, but because he basically just doesn't eat very much anymore. If he can't eat the things that he used to eat, and he's forced to only eat vegetables, and he hates vegetables, then he's just really not eating very much. And I think he mentions that his diet is very much a lot of snack food type stuff, like like fried chickpeas and things like that. But ultimately, he goes a good portion of the day without eating at all. And you're going to see a significant amount of weight loss when you go through a significant calorie reduction like that. Now, I'm not judging his methods. It's his life, and he can do with it what he wants, but I just thought it was interesting because I got very curious about what kind of a lifestyle change he made, because it was a significant difference in his body. I'm not really going to kind of speak to the rendering method on this. It's a pretty simple piece for the most part. The only thing I might say is that I did kind of try to put them in a spotlight a little bit, mostly because I'm just going to state it plainly. Kevin Smith is a director, but I don't necessarily know that he fancies himself to be much of an actor. I don't think he's winning any Oscars anytime soon, and I hope that's not insulting because I am a huge fan of his work. But having said that, Kevin Smith is playing a character named Silent Bob who has little to no dialogue at any given time. And so he has to emote a lot with his face when he's acting, and that surprised look on his face is his go-to expression for just about everything. So again, I'm going to defend the caricature and just kind of say, like, when you see Silent Bob, generally speaking, that's usually the look on his face, unless he just looks disinterested completely. So with that look on his face, I had to kind of justify a reason for it, and so I thought, well, let's just framing this out. If he's going to look shocked, maybe I'll give Jay something similar on his face, maybe not as worried. And why would they be? Because they just got caught in something. And so that framing of that kind of spotlight is meant to kind of give you this idea that they got caught in something and explain the surprised expression on Silent Bob's face. A long explanation to just kind of a very simple reason why I chose the look that I did, but hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to sign off right now and let you enjoy the music for the rest of the video. There's not much left here, but I am going to ask that you just take a minute, subscribe if you haven't done so already, share, have a great day. I'll have some more content up soon.